morning, Wadsworth. How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
I always wait for Michael to say that. I hear a little echo, and I know it's time to start. I'm Janie Parrish. I'm the director at the Wadsworth Area Chamber of Commerce, along with my stunningly gorgeous co-host, Michael Reynolds. Michael is the president of our chamber board, so really, I would say that, right?
Yeah.
Even if I didn't believe it.
Especially as we get close to pay raise time.
I'm going to add a couple more adjectives in there then. Yeah. So Michael's the director of sales for the Post newspaper, along with he and his wife Lisa own Pine Valley Golf Course, and it's been a great, really probably 2 months now for weather.
Absolutely, since
Yeah.
a monsoon season spring, it's been a great summer.
That's right. Well, guess what? We have two men in uniform here today. If my mother were here, she would be excited.
She'd be swooning, huh?
She would be swooning. Yep. She always liked a good man in a uniform. Yep. So today we have Terry Grice, who is the Montville Police Chief, Montville Township
Correct. That's
Police.
right.
Thank you.
Good
And-
job. You got that right.
He's got one of those tough to pronounce
Right.
last names.
Yeah.
Probably what
The
throwing you
Price
off.
is Right.
That's
The
right.
Price is
That's
Right.
Exactly.
And then also from the Wadsworth Police Department is Adam Innocenti. How'd I do?
You did great. That
Great.
was perfect.
So far, she's 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, the reason is not because of their actual positions within the police department, but that they're members of McPal. So let's talk about what is McPal?
Well, again, thanks for having us down here.
Sure.
We appreciate getting the word out about McPal, especially since we're down here in Wadsworth.
Well, we do appreciate the long journey from Montville
And
Township.
that's why I left 3 hours early. I didn't know what 57 was going to look like.
I know, and you know that police department in Wadsworth, they're
Well, I was
tough.
waiting to see where
Tough.
Officer Innocente was. So, well, McPal stands for Medina County Police Activities League, and when we started in Wadsworth, probably 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think actually this will be the 5th year. Yeah, this will
Okay.
be the 5th year.
Wow.
Yeah, over at Lincoln Elementary.
Correct.
And the basic premise of McPal is just to put officers with a positive relationship with youth, which is elementary age kids, and now obviously over there it's third
and fourth grade.
and fourth grade. And when we started this in 2010, we had one school, which was Garfield, and we had 10 kids in it.
In Medina.
In Medina.
Yes.
And now today, with the help of all the officers, we're at 10 locations in 5 school districts, and we serve over 500 kids. So it's unbelievable,
Wow.
and we couldn't do it without the officers that do it twice a week at all these locations. And I think we're really making a difference too with these kids
yes,
and families
definitely.
too. So,
Boy, that's got to feel good.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It's a really good program. It's great. I'm glad that they were able to come here and we're able to do it at the school.
Okay, so tell me how you get into a school. Like once you're in, what happens?
So there's about 25 kids in McPal. Again, it's at Lincoln this last 5 years we've been at Lincoln. And we go in and there's an officer. There's also a teen that comes and helps out. So we have,
Nice.
actually last year we had 2 teens from the high school that came and also helped out with the program.
and they serve as mentors too, which
correct.
is helpful for the high school kids
Sure.
to get in that leadership role.
And I actually just talked to 2 of the mentors yesterday at the high school. We were doing an orientation for the freshmen, and they're upperclassmen that we use usually from the high school, and they're really excited about starting up again. So we get there. The program runs for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
We start just after school, and we'll help them a little bit with their homework. You know, if they have questions, I try not to help them with math. 'cause
Yeah, I was going to say math isn't his specialty.
not my
He
not
has
my
to get
strong
a cell
suit.
phone out.
Yeah, usually that's where the mentors really can come into good, because you know they're used to the way they teach
Sure.
things these days. It's a little different than when I went to school. But
Because
then
that math has changed.
it has quite
Yeah.
a bit, quite a bit.
You can still get the same answer, but it's just different.
It's different, yeah, yeah. And then after we do that, we talk to them a little bit. We play games, and it's really neat because the kids get to see us. We don't wear our uniforms, our police uniforms.
Okay.
We usually wear a McPal shirt or something to that effect, and we play games with them. So they see us out of uniform. They know we're police officers. We try to explain to them, we emphasize on teamwork and being one with the community and things like that. So we do a lot of fun programs throughout the year. Last year, just to name one, I got to take the kids down to Catherine's Crafts down on the square there. The kids got to make some necklaces and bracelets and things like that. That was a neat thing for them to do. And
I think they also then walked down to Binger's
yes,
too.
yep,
Got some
go to
ice cream.
Binger's.
Oh
So
boy, I
we
don't
do-
know how I missed that.
We'll
Those
have
are-
to
go ahead.
keep you on the notice next time.
Okay,
we
good.
do a little field trip.
Yeah.
But those are just some of the things we do with the kids. It's not just playing games, though. It's really, like I said, it's about leadership, teaching them how to become one with the community, and really how to give back to the community too when they get a little bit older. So, and plus it makes them realize that we're not just police officers. You know, we're human beings as well, and we like to have fun,
sure.
and we like to do things. Because sometimes they see us in our uniform, and it does. I mean, when kids are in elementary school, it sometimes can sort of be shocking to see a person.
A little intimidating.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And I think it's fabulous that Officer Innocente has agreed to do this, especially being the school resource officer. So they see him during school, but then they see him after school in a little different light. Maybe when they see him at the high school football games, they'll come up to him, approach him. He's building relationships at
And they
that
do,
young age.
and they do. They
Yeah.
do remember it. So, and you know, it's not just me. There's 4 officers from Wadsworth that take part in it. So we take turns doing the
Nice.
McPowell program. So they get some other officers that they might not be familiar with because they're not school resource officers. But it works out really, really well.
Now, who are the other officers so we can say thank you to them in Wadsworth?
It's Sergeant Shismenos, just newly promoted,
That's right.
actually.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
again.
yeah. And then we have Officer Fiki. She's a pretty new officer, actually. I think she was Officer of the Year last year.
Yes. I
And we
remember
have
that.
Officer Smith, who just started as well, and Officer Blueball. And then actually another officer that when he can, he works 3rd shift right now, so it's a little difficult for him to do it, but Officer Walzer has also been.
I got to say, it's a good
assisting.
thing you're not tutoring math because that was way more than 4.
Yeah, no. And myself, yeah. I guess that,
He's like,
yeah,
"Wait a
you're right.
second,
No.
He's counting over here. They're keeping an eye on you.
He doesn't let anything get
No.
past.
And I have a personal connection there at Lincoln.
Yeah.
Do you deal with Mrs. Capitosta at all?
Yeah, nothing bad, nothing bad.
Good. That's my daughter.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Nothing bad.
She's a 4th grade teacher there.
Yeah.
I know thinks well of your program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, tell us, what is the criteria to become a member of McPowell?
Well, the way we do it in Wadsworth, and I'm not sure if it's the same way throughout the whole, but it's usually a lottery style. The kids, you know, hear about the program and they put their name in, and at that point,
I
they
want
do-
to just, it's a lottery style because of the good work they do. So many kids are interested.
Aw,
And
that
all
is
honesty,
That's a
true.
testament to, you're
right,
right,
of
how
what
good
they're
it is.
doing because there's only so much room. I think 20, 25 is the
Yeah,
cap.
yeah.
So.
And it works really well with, you know, 20 kids. 25, it starts to get a little hairy because you got a lot of kids you're trying to corral all, and it's like, you know, herding cats, sort of at that
Especially
age.
at that
But
age,
yeah, yeah, but it is. The more the merrier, though. On the other hand, it's a really good program.
So, do they do the lottery at the beginning of the school year?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
The officer will go around, get interest, everyone puts their name in, and then we'll pull them out. And normally we've had 2 sessions there, one in the first half of the year, one in the
Oh,
second half.
nice.
This year we might change it up a little bit, but that's the way we've done it in the past. And that's very similar to all the other locations because we're in Cloverleaf School District, Wadsworth, Medina, Highland, and Brunswick. And
Yeah.
it's just, thankfully, you know, we do have the support of those school districts and all those local officers there too. So that's why we're able to
Very
do it.
nice.
So now when you have the 2 sessions, is that 2 different sets of 25 kids, or is it the same 25?
Normally it is 2 different
Different.
sets. Now, if you know we have room, we'll certainly take the other kids that were in the first session too. But as Officer Innocente said, they did some local field trips. But some of the field trips they've taken, with Cavs game, they've gone down to the Science Center, to the zoo, down to what is the Akron Charge or Canton Charge. So we try to get some other opportunities that maybe some of these kids wouldn't have, or they just now get to do it with an officer too to make that memory. We took a group down into Cleveland to the Monsters game. And I know some kids, a Monsters game isn't that exciting. But on the way home, one of the kids was in the back of the van and said, "This was the best night ever." And those are the kind of things that hopefully they'll put that together, that was part of this program. And they'll remember that as they get older too. So it's
You
pretty,
just
it's
went
pretty
to
powerful.
Cedar Point.
Yes, we did. That was for our summer program,
Okay.
which was sponsored by the FOP. And yes, we just did that last week, and we had to cut it off. We had 24 kids sign up for that too. And they did a whole week of activities. And actually, we got the idea from Wadsworth because of your summer camp that they do. So this one was a
Wow.
little different. It was activities. I can't even name all the places. They did Play CLE, the Cedar
Wow.
Point. What's the place over at the water park over here in Canal Fulton? Clay's Water Park.
Clay's Park.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they did a lot of different things. So it was neat. It was a good
Oh
experience.
my gosh. Well, before we get into how you're funded, because I had to say it so I remember it.
Yes,
But
we'll all have to remember that.
that one, yeah, because that's important. But do you have a board? How is this? Are you a 501c3?
It is a 501c3 with
Okay,
a
good.
board of directors. We do have some representation from Wadsworth. Craig Hassinger's on the board, and
Good.
Gabby Durbin, but she works at CW Corwin. So we do have Wadsworth Business as part of it, which we appreciate, because we
Good.
couldn't do this on our own. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So then you must go by donations, and do you do fundraisers?
We do fundraisers, donations, and then we're the juvenile court judge, Judge Dunn's very helpful. We get a grant through there, and then we also get a grant through the state of Ohio and the national PAL. But a lot of it's word of mouth fundraisers. We actually have a fundraiser coming up. I think it's September 27th. I should have had that date. But it's at Blue Heron. It's just a Wednesday evening from 5:30 to 7:30. It's called the Mix and Mingle. People can come in, stop in. It's very casual, just to learn about the program.
Now, is there a charge for the participants in McPal?
That's what's so
no.
unique. There
It's
is
free.
no charge.
That is awesome.
Now, the summer camp, there was a charge, and some of the field trips, we might have a nominal fee, but the actual come twice a week, there's no fee. And the other thing that they do is we provide a snack. And again, every family's different, but some of those kids really rely on that snack, maybe to get them through a meal, maybe they're running a little tight at home or something like that. So we provide a snack, and then once a month.
A meal, yeah.
Yeah.
They bring in a meal. We've had mac and cheese. They brought in sloppy joes, I think hot dogs. I mean, it's a great program.
So who brings that food in?
And she's not here, and she deserves a lot of the credit for running
Okay.
this, is Rebecca Byrne and
Yeah.
Christine Navicki. They run the program, and they do such a fabulous job. Without them, really, we wouldn't be able to do it, that's for sure.
Now, when you go on some of these field trips that may require additional funds, do you procure sponsors or things like that? Sometimes for some of those children that simply would be a hardship
Yeah,
to do.
and that's a great idea. We haven't done that, and that's a good idea. Maybe we could have a sponsor for taking them to the Cavs game or something.
A
of
local
that nature.
business or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
Because many times, even something that would seem insignificant to many of us wouldn't be for some of those kids.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And it's interesting, when the Cavs were a little better than they are now, taking the kids down there was $2,400. And now the ticket prices have dropped, and it's $1,200. But it's still, that's on PAL to come up with
Last
that.
year they would have donated $2,400 too.
I know, exactly. I
Bring them
know.
on down.
I know.
Yeah.
But, those are different opportunities for them to experience. So it's a neat way to see it, I guess.
Yeah.
So then, because you're a 501c3, it would be a tax deduction.
You're very wise. I like how you throw that
I
in there.
know. Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we'll send out the appropriate letters thanking with our federal ID number on there for tax purposes.
Sure. So say, for example, a business did want to sponsor an event. Because I remember last year you went down to Playhouse Square to see a play and took a school bus
Right.
down. It was no frills. That's what
That's
they
right.
said. No frills. We're just going down to see a play. So, for example, a business would say, I'd really like to sponsor an event like that. What would they do to do that? And is there anything like in reverse that they would be able to participate?
Sure.
Yeah.
And to that point, there were people that they couldn't go, so they wanted to sponsor a child to be able to go. So maybe they would write a check for $20 for someone, a child, to go. Maybe they didn't know. But to the business idea, that maybe they could just call up to. Right now, it's the Montville Police Department's running it. So it's
Okay.
330-725-8314. And then
That's not the emergency
say-
No,
number.
that's not 911. Please don't call that number.
So you
And then
better
ask for
remember that
Rebecca.
number, right?
And then, and we have a pretty, I think it's pretty active Facebook page where we're
Yes.
posting on there what's upcoming. And if a business were to see, hey, they're going to go, like you said, downtown Cleveland, and they'd like to get part of it. And then on the permission slip forms, we could put sponsored by,
Absolutely.
whatever
Sure.
business in Wadsworth. And a lot of times we'll separate, Wadsworth will go on their own field trip, or Highland schools, if the numbers dictate that.
Yeah.
So,
Have you gone on ones where it's everyone?
yes, and we've taken school buses, and it's been like
That's an
70
undertaking.
kids downtown Cleveland, and you need plenty of chaperones for that.
Oh.
So, just because of the crowds down there.
Sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But I have always heard really good things about McPal. And you have a lot of community support, too, the people that are on your board. Tell us some of the people who are on your board.
Janie Groza over from Westfield, very helpful. Jim Shields, Medina Schools, he's our president. I told you Craig Hassinger, Gabby's on there from CW Corwin, David Farrell, he's up in Brunswick. I know I'm going to forget people. Pat Haberfield, he's from S&T Bank. We have members from Juvenile Court on there as well. I said Craig Hassinger already. Christy Rickenbrot from Medina Health Department.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
so we have a very diverse board too.
Yes, all over the place
Right,
too,
right.
so that you can. So what's coming up with McPal? Let's talk about the whole organization as a whole. So what's coming up next for you?
Well, we're going to kick off the school year here. Obviously, does Wadsworth start next Monday?
They start actually on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay, so most of them start next week. We normally don't start that first week. We let the kids kind of get adjusted, and then we'll start maybe a week or two into school. And then, as I said, the fundraiser's in September. If you go to
Okay.
our Facebook page,
We'll
the
be
dates will be
there.
on there. We appreciate that. And then actually this year, which is kind of unique, I'd like to get Wadsworth involved. Logistically, sometimes it's hard, but last year we had a third grader approach us and wanted to do a soccer tournament for PAL because we have a basketball tournament up for the Medina schools. All 7 elementaries form basketball teams around March for the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
And we do a basketball tournament. We provide the transportation, but they want to do a soccer tournament in the fall. So they'll have 7 teams from each of the elementaries, and then, like I said, if we could get Wadsworth, it'd be kind of neat to have them kind of square off in a championship. So we're going to do that. Ormaco's helped out this year. We're going to have a little bit of a music club, if you will. Steel drums, guitar, and then just basic
Nice.
drums. So that'll be something new too, because we don't want to focus it solely on sports. We understand not all kids like sports, so that's why we always try to do something. Maybe when we went to the science center, some kids are really into the sciences and others aren't, but we try to mix everything together.
Ormaco is such a great
Oh
one.
my
Oh,
God.
fabulous! Yeah,
Amazing.
really provide a lot of opportunities to kids.
So after school starts, after that first crazy busy week, so you'll start going into the schools to talking to the 3rd and 4th graders
Correct.
and explain the program to them, and then see who wants to sign up.
Exactly right. Hey, we can maybe get Janie to help work.
Yeah.
You've got it down the pad, right? Here
I
we're going.
do.
Yes.
I do. Now, what if we want to volunteer to help you with these field trips when you do those, or to help with, say a day at that hour and a half? Are you taking volunteers
Yes,
outside?
Yep. The only criteria, which I think everyone understands, is they just have to come to the station, do a background check. It's electronic. PAL will pay for that nominal fee. That way, then they come in, and then we can sign them up for dates that would work for whoever wants to volunteer. The other component which we have, which Rebecca really puts a lot of time into, we also have a food pantry. And what's unique about that, at least in our area, is we have volunteers that go out and deliver the food. So right now they're feeding, serving 20 families a week, and it's brought to them, which is very unique. And I know Wadsworth, if there's a family in need, and an Officer Innocente knows about it, we'll be happy to do that or make arrangements for them too. So.
Boy, and you know what? That's been really nice. I know when school resource officers kind of came into being, because when I was in school, 12 years ago?
Right.
Right, absolutely.
Just was like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
just,
great.
like
Overnight.
yesterday.
Yeah. This school was already built then.
Yeah, it was.
There was, we never had a resource officer in our school. But, and then, people would say, oh my gosh, but the money that they have to pay for that. But that's just another great side effect of having a school resource officer, is to help identify, because you're probably watching all day long what's going on.
It's a great resource that not only myself, but now that we have 2 of us, with Officer Schonk also just starting last year, having us in the schools. We've noticed, and I've had other officers actually come up to me and tell me, hey, since you guys have started in the schools, the kids seem to be more open to talking to us, and they don't seem as timid when we're around. And it really, they see how Officer Dan and I really help out around the schools, and they realize that, hey, they're here to help us if we need something. So
I'm sure have you had kids reach out to you?
Yes. I have kids come down to my office all the time here at the high school, and if they're having issues and things like that, and nothing even criminal, just they need somebody to talk to. So, and it's the same thing with McPal, building that relationship with those kids at a young age, so they understand that, hey, these people are here to help us, because the sad part of it is sometimes, you know, they get outside people telling them that, you know, we are not their friend, we're not there to help. So
Sure.
for them to see for their own eyes how things are, how we are and how we're putting out a helping hand, and just giving food. You know, Chief Grace was talking about the snack. I mean, all kids like to eat. You know, I have 2 at home myself that, you know, are constantly eating this out of house. But, you know, they need snacks. And you can always tell that one, you know, there's a couple kids that usually you slip them an extra snack here or there, you know, if they seem like they're really hungry, or they'll, hey, can I take one home for my sister, you know, things like that. So, and those are the types of kids you know, I'll reach out to Terry and let him know that, hey, maybe we could get some food down here for the families as well. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, not only does it help the child, but then it's starting to help the entire family.
Sure.
And then they'll recognize, the parents will say, hey, you know, whether it's down here, Wadsworth PD or Montville PD or whoever, really is taking an active, I guess, approach to helping their welfare, which unfortunately, you know, sometimes the media portrays law enforcement in one light, and I think you see it locally. That's not the case. Officers are involved in this profession to make a positive impact in the lives of others, and you certainly see that, you know, with this program for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's exactly what I was going to mention is, you know, especially the national sort of media narrative too many times over the last 10 to 15 years has gone from a police officer being a very respected member of the community to a negative connotation where they're not approachable, or, you know, you shouldn't trust them or talk to them. I think what you're doing in the long-term effects of that with a lot of these young kids will be extremely positive and really be seen in the next 10 years.
You're absolutely right. Breaks down that mold that's outside of our county.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it takes work.
Yes.
I mean, it really does.
Sure.
It takes getting out of the police car, talking with kids, talking with adults, and that's the whole basis of this program.
And I'm sure that because it cuts across all lines, is that some of the kids have seen police officers come into their homes for not such good situations. And so that's certainly scary.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then to have a police officer be so kind and caring has to just break down those barriers too. Because you don't want anybody growing up being afraid of policemen.
You're absolutely right. That's
Really.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they always say the policeman's your friend. That's why I like Terry and Adam so much. They're my
That's right.
friends.
That's right. Even when she's speeding down the street.
That's right. Okay, so what's going to be new for this year with McPal?
Well, the new component is the music program that we're talking about.
Good
and I think
deal.
that will be very exciting to offer that new component for kids that so they don't have to participate in the regular 2-day-a-week McPal. This will be something additional.
Okay.
So yeah, that's one of the components that we're going to bring on. And I don't know if you have any goals down here in Wadsworth.
I think that soccer tournament sounds like a good idea. And
Yeah.
I know that I know we had talked even about possibly getting into the basketball one too last year. So
And
I
there's
think that's something.
5 elementaries or 4?
We have 5 here.
So-
You put me on the spot there for a
Yeah.
second. Yeah. And then we have Sacred Heart as well in town too.
So I think that would be a great opportunity. And speaking of sponsorships, that would be a good opportunity for businesses to get involved down here in Wadsworth and say, hey, we'll sponsor the Wadsworth teams, because for basketball, they all have their own team jerseys, and then the winner gets some T-shirts and a trophy. So there's not that it's huge cost, but you know, all those things add up for a nonprofit.
Sure.
You know.
As I know, yeah. But I think that we should start promoting this in our Wadsworth Chamber newsletter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think that there would be anybody who wouldn't want to get behind something like this.
Sure. And I don't think in general the community is aware of how much you guys are doing.
And I think you're spot on, and that's probably, you know, my fault. We probably should do a little better job getting out there, because we are a member of the chamber, PAL is, and maybe just getting the information out down here a little better in Wadsworth too.
Tooting your own horn a little bit sometimes is
let 'em know.
necessary.
Yeah, and because a lot of times I think you want to help if you're just asked.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, so before we go, because you're not going to believe this, but we only have 2 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
I know.
You were doing all the talking.
As always. Tell us about your fundraiser again so that we can come.
Sure. And I apologize, I don't have the date. I think it's a Wednesday, so I think that's the 27th of September. It's
Okay.
5:30 to 7:30 at
Well,
Blue
a
Heron.
Wednesday's the
28th.
Okay, so.
Is that right?
Yes, because
We'll put it in our chamber
Yeah.
Yes,
newsletter.
we will.
But it is on our Facebook page.
Okay, good.
Medina McPal Facebook.
Okay.
So, and again, it's $50. You get some hors d'oeuvres and some drinks, and there's silent auction there. We're looking for table sponsors. It's $100 to sponsor a table.
Okay.
We already have our title sponsor secured. But again,
Who
it's
is that
it's
title?
Westfield.
Very
Nice.
They're always very helpful.
Yes.
And then I believe Seaver Keck is also sponsoring too. Again, Craig Hassinger.
Yeah.
They're very generous. And
Yeah.
again,
Well,
it takes that type of
Sure.
relationship with business to make these things happen. And you guys know that. I know you're very generous down here.
Thanks.
So
Now, what if somebody would like to donate a basket or something for your silent
if they
auction?
can just call Rebecca or Christine at the office, again, 330-725-8314, and they'll be happy to either come down and pick it up or whatever the case may be. We would certainly appreciate that.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And also, they can call the chamber, and we would make
I
arrangements
appreciate
for
that.
it,
That'd
too.
be awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's a casual on a Wednesday after work. You don't have to stay the whole 2 hours. You know, just again,
Yeah.
mix and mingle. Talk
Pop
with some
in.
of your friends
Sure.
and then learn about the program and then, you know, mosey on out. So.
Is it so casual that I could wear my pajamas?
Yes,
Then
absolutely.
just go
We'll definitely get some pictures of that for sure.
We already,
It'll be on the
we already
next-
have pictures of that.
It'll be on the next show.
And then I can just go home and go to bed.
Right.
Because you
Or-
know how
yeah.
I am.
Right,
About,
she's like, see you later.
yeah, about 8:30, my eyes start
Right.
glazing over
Yeah.
and going, I'm ready for bed.
That's the end of it.
Yeah. Well, Terry and Adam, thank you so much for coming and educating us today about MCPAL, Medina County Police Activities
That's
League.
it.
Thank you for all you do. You're making such a difference. And I'm sure there's times that you're tired and,
Oh, I'm
you know, yeah, and you think, oh, I got this to do or that to do, but I'm going to go.
That hour and a half flies by though. You don't
I'm-
even realize you're there that long, and it's, you know, you almost sometimes wish it's a little bit longer. But then there's some days you wish it was a little shorter.
Sure.
So it's right in between there.
So I'm going to say thank you, and then Michael likes to sign us out.
Yeah, but
Well,
first
thank you.
I'll say thank you as well for all you do in the community.
Thank you, guys.
And like I said, we need to get that word out because you're doing great things, and I think
Yeah.
it will impact us positively as it already has for the
we-
coming years.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the support down here in Wadsworth for sure.
Sure.
Thank you. That's all. So have a great week, Wadsworth.